On Cheyenne's 10th birthday, Cheyenne insisted on having ice cream. Cheyenne's parents had to take Cheyenne out to buy it. There was a car accident on the road, and only Cheyenne's elder brother, Chaney Jones, and Cheyenne survived with the protection of Cheyenne's parents. From that moment on, Chaney hated Cheyenne to the core. Chaney took good care of their cousin, but Chaney was cold and malicious towards Cheyenne. Chaney often asked, "How come it wasn't you who died in the car accident?" As Chaney wished, Cheyenne had cancer and would die soon. Coming out of the hospital, the diagnosis paper in Cheyenne's hand sentenced Cheyenne to death. The situation was unexpected, but reasonable. Cheryl suddenly felt a strong urge to tell her elder brother, Chaney, that his wish was about to come true. At that moment, Winnie called Cheryl. "Cheryl, today's brother's birthday, aren't you coming back?" Winnie Wilson was Cheryl's cousin. Winnie referred to Cheryl as Cheryl, but called Chaney brother. Chaney always addressed Cheryl by her full name, yet he called Winnie affectionately Winnie. The difference in their intimacy was evident. Each year on Chaney's birthday, Cheryl prepared gifts for him with great care. But Chaney never seemed to appreciate them, casually discarding them without a glance. Cheryl believed that Chaney would definitely appreciate the gift this year. After all, Chaney had been looking forward to it for so many years. "Well, Cheryl will go back in a while," Cheryl replied. As Cheryl was about to hang up the phone, Chaney's cold and disdainful words reached Cheryl's ears. "Why do you ask a stranger to come here? It's a mood killer." Since the age of 10, Cheryl had been nothing more than a hated stranger to Chaney. When Cheryl arrived at the Jones family's villa, it was already evening and the lights inside were shining brightly. Once upon a time, the Jones family villa used to be a warm harbor for Cheryl. But now, Cheryl couldn't remember the last time she had come back. Pushing open the door, the original laughter and joy came to an abrupt halt. Chaney wore a birthday hat and Winnie had smeared his face with pure white cream. The scene looked funny and heartwarming. Memories of childhood began to flood back to Cheryl. Before the age of 10, when Mr. and Mrs. Jones were still alive, every year on anyone's birthday, Cheryl stubbornly put cream on Chaney's face. Cheryl had arrogantly wrapped her arm around Chaney's neck and declared to everyone, "Chaney is my elder brother, and no one is allowed to compete with me." Cheryl Jones had lost her elder brother, but Chaney Jones already had a new younger sister. Chaney's face instantly sank when he saw Cheryl. "Who let you come?" "You are not welcome here." Cheryl knew she was not welcome without Chaney saying it, but Cheryl still wanted to find an excuse to see him. Cheryl wanted to take a good look at him. Maybe it was a farewell. Cheryl forced a smile, pulling the corners of her mouth. Happy birthday." Cheryl handed Chaney an envelope containing her diagnosis certificate. "This is my last birthday gift for you?" Chaney Jones's face instantly turned dark. Chaney questioned, "Are you cursing me?" Chaney suddenly knocked the envelope out of Cheryl Jones's hand, the force so strong that Cheryl's arm went numb. Cheryl did not know if it was because death was approaching, but even the slightest pain was magnified several times. Chaney continued, "Cheryl, if you don't want to come, you don't have to. Do you think I will beg you to come?" It was not that Cheryl did not want to come. Cheryl could not come anymore. Chaney ordered, "Before leaving, clean up the mess in your bedroom. Winnie Wilson happens to need a music room." Cheryl turned around and went upstairs, pushing open the door to her bedroom. The furnishings inside had been frozen in time since Cheryl was 10 years old. The princess dresses that Cheryl's mother bought for her were still in the wardrobe. Cheryl packed her childhood clothes into the box one by one. There were also many items related to Chibi Maruko-chan on the desk, which Chaney had collected for Cheryl before she turned 10. Cheryl packed a box full of warm memories from her childhood. On the day of her death, those memories would accompany Cheryl, ensuring that she would not be lonely or afraid. The suitcase felt a bit heavy and Cheryl Jones's body was weak, making movement difficult. As Cheryl was going downstairs, Cheryl accidentally looked up and met Chaney Jones's gaze. In that moment, Cheryl lost footing and the suitcase tumbled down the stairs. The items related to Chibi Maruko-chan broke free from the constraints of the suitcase and scattered across the ground. Chaney observed the mess with turmoil evident in his eyes. "Cheryl Jones, you're cruel. You're really cruel. Get lost. Don't let me see you again." Cheryl paid no mind to the pain from the fall, crawling to gather everything, both good and bad, and stuffing them back into the suitcase. Like a deserter, Cheryl Jones escaped through the gate. The rain poured heavily outside, but Cheryl felt too embarrassed to return after leaving in such a hurry. The door behind Cheryl opened. Cheryl turned around with hope, thinking that Chaney Jones would shelter her from the wind and rain like he did during their childhood, and protect her by his side. Instead, Cheney coldly threw the envelope Cheryl had given him into the rain. The paper became soaked, the ink ran, and it turned unrecognizable. Cheney then commanded, "Call the decorators tomorrow and renovate the entire bedroom." Cheryl Jones couldn't tell if the water on her face was sweat or tears. Cheryl turned back and took a deep look at the place that had witnessed her joys and sorrows.